guys, my name is Stephanie and I am one half of Steph and Adam, a channel showing you how to make delicious, easy, plant-based food that will also help you save money. And today we have a very different episode for you. I'm going to be showing you 25 of our recipes that we've already done because we have tons and tons of videos and you might not have seen them all, but these 25 recipes are going to be put into a playlist for you. You can click the link in the description box below, and these 25 recipes will be able to be made from things that are just in your pantry. And we're obviously addressing this today because of all the coronavirus craziness that's going on. And we've been seeing lots of people who are saying the silliest things, like that they don't know how they're gonna live on just rice and beans for the next 2 weeks. While you may not be in lockdown, there are people who are in lockdown, and even though that their grocery stores are open, you're still being told to socially distance yourself. So if you really want to be cautious, you can be staying in your house. You can have all this stuff ready to go in your pantry and you don't have to worry about going to the grocery store. So I'm going to be showing you not only these recipes, but also some tips and tricks so that way you really don't have to go to the grocery for an extended period of time. And the best part is you might be stocking up on tons and tons of processed foods and things that aren't necessarily healthy, and they're also super expensive. So all these recipes I'm gonna be showing you are very inexpensive, so you're not gonna break the budget if you have to go stock up for 2 weeks, for a month, whatever your case may be. We don't really know how this is gonna play out from here on, so you might as well just stock up on all these items, and I'm gonna show you how to make all these easy, delicious recipes so you do not have to be bored for however long you may have to stay home. So, let's get started. I'm just gonna run down these 25 different recipes for you, show you little clips from the videos, and then I'll leave a link to the playlist in the description box below so that you can go and watch the specific videos that you would like to learn how to make. So the first thing I do want to say though is that this is a great time to be vegan because everyone's running and getting a bunch of meat and stocking up in your freezer, but there's only so much freezer space that you have, and it could be very expensive to be stocking up on meat right now. So the best thing to do is stock up on these cupboard essentials. The first one is, we have Saute Sauce. This was a video back in the day that we made for both carnivores and for vegans. The Saute sauce is super peanutty and delicious. It's really easy to make, and it can be made with tofu instead of chicken, which we show you how to do in the video. Now, tofu can last in your fridge for a very long time. I'm pretty sure it has a shelf life of like over a month. Now the Saute sauce just has like rice and coconut milk, which is a canned item. So that is number one for a really easy recipe to make. Number two, we have Lentil Nachos. This is an Adam classic recipe from back in the day. This was episode 28 from our How to Meal Prep series back in the day, way back. So if you missed this episode, actually it was from 2016. That's how old this recipe is, but we still make this all the time because it's so easy to do. So these lentil nachos taste like meat because they're made out of lentils. You don't even have to cook anything. Everything is just mixed up in a bowl. It's really easy. Instead of tomatoes, depending on how long you're gonna be in your house for, if you don't have any tomatoes in your house, you could also buy salsa and in the jar and just leave that in your cupboard. So that could be a pantry item instead of having tomatoes in your fridge. Totally up to you which way you wanna go with that one. Number three. So let's say you open up your fridge and you're like, great, I have nothing but carrots and celery, because carrots and celery last a long time. So definitely stock up on carrots and celery. And so you open your fridge and you're like, great, I literally have nothing to eat. Well, guess what? If you also have onions, potatoes, and lentils in your pantry, then you can make a delicious, really easy soup. It's actually right behind me on the stove. I made some yesterday because Sophie loves it. Carrots and celery last forever. Potatoes, onions, garlic, lentils last forever. You don't have to buy the canned lentils because those are more expensive. If you want to, just buy the dried lentils. It's very easy to make lentils from scratch. Just follow the directions on the package, and they're also cheaper. So if you want to do that rather than getting the canned lentils, great idea. So looking at your fridge and just seeing carrots and celery, it doesn't look like much, but then you can make tons and tons of soup with it. So soup, that's one of my favorite things. Next, we have one of our all-time favorites that we talk about a lot, rice and beans. Yes, everybody ran out to Costco and bought tons and tons of rice and beans. I was at Costco maybe like 2 weeks ago and it already said you're not allowed to buy more than 5 bags of rice. So I know you guys all stocked up on the rice and beans. Obviously, you can make a million different rice and beans. And just like I was saying before with the tomatoes, if you don't have tomatoes in your fridge because you've been at home for a long time and the tomatoes are all gone, make sure you stock up on salsa because you can use salsa for the rice and beans. You can freeze avocados, I've heard. We have not actually done it because avocados do not last long in our house. But I do also know from personal experience that you can freeze guacamole. So if you're getting prepared for this pandemic or whatever you want to call it, you can stock up on avocados and make a huge batch of guacamole and then either freeze individual portions for it if you're just making food for yourself, or if you're making food for a family, freeze a giant batch of like 4 servings, leave that in your freezer so that way you can just defrost that and eat that. It totally works. Next we have one of my new all-time favorites, cold sesame noodles. This was inspired by my love of cold sesame noodles that I used to order all the time from the appetizer sections of Chinese restaurants. And like I showed you in a recent video, it's so easy to make. It's literally 5 ingredients that you can whisk together in a bowl and then pour it on top of pasta. It's so easy. Those are all obviously pantry items. Let's see, it's peanut butter, sesame oil, or you could just use olive oil, whatever you want. Garlic, sesame seeds, a sweetener of your choice. You can use honey, or if you're a total vegan, you can use agave or any sweetener that you would like. So that is really easy and so fast to make. Another one that your kids can totally whip up for you and they'll feel like little chefs because they just made something that looks super fancy. And that one we make with broccoli, but if you don't have broccoli at this point or you don't have any in your freezer, then skip out on the broccoli. But that's a great point. You can actually buy lots of frozen fruits and veggies. We stocked up on frozen fruits and veggies. Next up, we have some black bean soup, which I showed you in a recent video how to make. It's so easy. You throw everything in one pot and you can make a whole lot of it. So that one has things like black beans, onions, garlic, and salsa. Super easy. And then you can always have tortilla chips on hand that you can eat with that, and you can have rice with that, whatever you'd like. Everybody loves that one. We've been getting a lot of great comments about that recipe. Here's a breakfast recipe idea for you. This video is the peanut butter chocolate oats video, and the only ingredients in that one are peanut butter, bananas, cacao, and oats. Obviously, if you are gonna plan to stay inside for at least 2 weeks, your bananas are not gonna last for 2 weeks, especially if you have a whole big family. So what we would recommend for bananas is, and what I'm actually gonna do for Sophie, I'm actually going to slice up bananas. I'm gonna buy a whole bunch of bananas, wait till they're ripe, slice them up, and then put them in the freezer into individual servings. So that way I can just take one out and I know that it's 1 banana for Sophie. That's also great for smoothies. So if you've stocked up on frozen fruits, that's a great way to make a great healthy smoothie in the morning. So don't think that you can't eat bananas because they're gonna go off, because you can definitely freeze them. So it's just like little tips like this to just think of in advance, and that'll be great for your oats. Okay, next we have Steph's curry, one of everyone's favorite recipes that we literally were not anticipating this to be one of everyone's favorite recipes, but it turned out that it was. So for this one, this has like garlic, artichokes, chickpeas, things that are definitely in your cupboard, but you can also use frozen veggies for this one. So if you don't have any green beans in your freezer, green beans are something that you can buy, baggies of and put them in your freezer, and you can use that for this recipe. Next up, we have penne alla vodka. I actually have 2 versions of penne alla vodka, but if you're stuck at home, this is the easiest version. And the only things that you need for this are onion, garlic, raw cashews, marinara sauce, and that's it. And it literally tastes like vodka sauce. It's the craziest thing ever. You can also add some peas to that, which obviously I'm sure you've stocked up on frozen peas. Those are very good for you, great in protein, great in carbs. So definitely stock up on frozen peas. Okay, next we have coconut chickpea curry, which was in a recent video, and it is so delicious, guys. This one just has onion, garlic, crushed tomatoes, coconut milk, which is in a can, chickpeas in a can, spinach you can use if you have frozen spinach. If you have 0 spinach, don't even worry about it. But that one is really easy to make with just the things in your pantry, / everything is really easy to make with just the things in your pantry. Next we're up to number 11 already, mac and cheese. This is the mac and cheese. This one is super old. This is from 2016, like February of 2016. This was still back in the day, a Chef Steph recipe, And the only things you need to make this vegan mac and cheese are sweet potatoes, carrots, onions, and raw cashews. That's it. And pasta. So it's vegetables, it's basically a veggie sauce. But if you want to make it more cheesy, you can add a bunch of nutritional yeast to make it to your liking. Next, if you're in the house and you're stuck, you do not want to be stocking up on really unhealthy processed, desserty kind of things. But of course, at some point, you're going to have a sweet tooth. So here's my chocolate chip cookie recipe for you, which could be considered meal prep if you make sure that you actually portion these out and don't eat the entire batch in one sitting. Sugars, vanilla, coconut cream, baking soda, baking powder, ground flax, almond flour. You will need a vegan cashew-based butter, but obviously butter does not go off, so you can stock up your fridge with some butter. These cookies are so delicious. Nobody has any idea that these are vegan. They are unreal. You have to try them if you haven't yet. And while we're on the dessert train, it's really easy to make peanut butter Reese's cups. All you need for these are almond flour, maple syrup, coconut oil, and dark chocolate. Very easy. These are also in our book, if you have our brand new plant-based meal prep book. All right, we are up to Mediterranean curry is next. That is one of my favorite things that you can just make a giant batch in a wok. So easy. It's rice, onions, chickpeas, artichokes, which you can get in a can, coconut milk, sun-dried tomatoes, also a can, and spinach, which is frozen if you have it. If you don't have it, don't worry about it. And the flavors in there are really nice. I don't often cook with sun-dried tomatoes because they're kind of expensive, but when you do, they're just so good. 15, we have potato salad. Super easy. It's literally baked potatoes, vegan mayonnaise, which will stay in your fridge forever, and scallions, which don't necessarily stay in your fridge forever, but you can freeze them if you would like. Or you just make this one before your scallions go off. But you can make a whole batch of this and just leave it in your fridge, and this one will be great for a long time. Some people are kind of freaked out about potatoes, but they are really grounding. They're a great food that should be really part of your diet. Sweet potatoes are great too, but don't be afraid of white potatoes. They're good. Number 16, we have one of my favorites. You guys know I talk about this one all the time, my bolognese recipe. A lot of these comfort food recipes I created when I was pregnant because I was craving things like spaghetti bolognese and chocolate chip cookies. So this one I make all the time. It is so easy. It's carrots and celery and onions, which again, carrots and celery last in your fridge forever. Lentils, which you can either get in the can or the dried ones, and marinara sauce. So you can put that on top of pasta, on top of rice, whatever you'd like. You can also make cashew Parmesan cheese to go with that. I will link that in the description box below, but it's really easy. You just blend up some cashews and some nutritional yeast and salt. So delicious. So then you have like an Italian staple right there. Next, we have some yellow fried rice, and the only things in this recipe are brown rice, you use turmeric to make it yellow, some butter beans, frozen green peas, coconut oil, water, onions, and celery. And then you can fry this rice up to make it obviously the fried part of it, but you don't have to do that if you don't want to. So it's totally up to you, but either way, it's super delicious and really easy to make, and it's really easy to make a lot of it. Moving right along, we're up to number 18. Veggie burgers. This is Adam's creation from back in the day. And by the way, every time I say these videos are back in the day, these are some funny videos that you should definitely watch because these are like old Fit Couple Cooks videos that they're just very amusing to watch, I think. Quinoa, walnuts, flax seeds, cannellini beans, and a whole bunch of different seasonings. Number 19, we are up to tacos. The taco meat is comprised of black beans and flax seeds and a bunch of different seasonings, and they really taste so good. You can have some corn tortillas on hand, or you can even just have corn chips on hand, whatever you'd like. You can make sure you have salsa in your pantry. If you don't have any tomatoes left, same thing as before. Depending on how long you've been at home, maybe you want to get some plant-based cheese for your fridge, some lettuce. But if you don't have those things, obviously you don't have to have them. Almost at the end, this is number 20, salted caramel oats, a different version of oats that you can make for your breakfast in case you get bored. So this is literally just dates and oats and salt, obviously. But it tastes like salted caramel, and It's really good for you because there's lots of dates in it, and dates are really good for you. This one is really easy to make, like literally really easy to make. I think this is the only recipe that just has 2 ingredients in it. But this one's great for meal prep. So we have meal prep recipes for breakfast. So far have been, we've talked about smoothies and making sure you have frozen fruit, and 2 oat recipes. Now we also have pancake recipes. This pancake recipe is like made with dates and almond flour and bananas, which we talked about making sure you keep frozen bananas in your freezer. But we also, if you do have our plant-based meal prep book, there are other pancake recipes in there that are really yummy. But we don't have videos of them, so I won't be able to share that in the playlist. But if you have the book, make sure you check out the breakfast section for the other pancake recipes. Then we have Anzac Cookies, which is an Australian thing, which Adam showed us how to make back in the day. This is one of the hilarious videos you should definitely go check out. It's made with things like almond flour and oats, very easy to do, and so it's great for a sweet tooth, but it's also used as like a breakfast cookie. Totally up to you, however you want to use that. All right, we are up to cinnamon maple granola, which could be used as a snack meal prep, because obviously if you're going to be home a lot, you're going to want to snack on things. This is really easy to do with just 2 baking trays. Use things like oats and raisins and pumpkin seeds. You can throw some dates in there, but it's much healthier and much cheaper than buying pre-packaged granola. Everybody knows pre-packaged granola is very expensive for a small bag, and they often have extra sugars in there. It's just not necessary. So you can definitely make your own homemade granola, and it's really yummy. Okay, we are down to the last 2 recipes. So we have banana muffins or a banana loaf. It's the same recipe, and you can just either put it into a loaf or muffins, which is great for either a snack or for breakfast or dessert, whatever you'd like. This is just things like bananas, which again, just put them in your freezer, coconut oil and almond flour, and a few other ingredients. This is a hit. Everybody loves these banana muffins. They're grabbable, easy to make, and everyone will love them whether they're a vegan or not. And extra tip, you can add some chocolate chips in there if you would like. So yummy. And actually, the banana muffins and banana loaf are the same thing as the banana cake, which is another video if you wanted to check that out. So if you're in lockdown and you have someone's birthday coming up, you can easily make this banana cake. And last but not least, we have chia pudding, another breakfast recipe. This is just chia seeds and coconut milk. And you can use frozen fruit on top of that to make it super yummy. That is an old school recipe. We did have whey protein powder in there. You do not need to add the whey protein powder in there. You can just have the chia seeds with the coconut milk. And that's actually also in our first book. It's in one of our books. The chia seed recipe is in one of our books, but there's a video so you can go watch that too. And that's it. So I hope this was a helpful, eye-opening guide to understanding that you don't just have to eat plain rice and plain black beans for the next 2 weeks or however long you are either self-quarantining or whatever's going on in the world right now when you are watching this video. If you enjoyed it, if you found it useful, please make sure you share it with a friend. Comment in the section box below. Let us know what you thought or what your favorite recipe is or which one you're excited to try the most. Make sure you go and click on that playlist so that you can see all of the recipes that I just talked to you about. We are definitely going to be making a lot more videos now that we are having a little bit of a break. So make sure your notifications are turned on for our channel. We'll catch you next time. Bye guys!